Bow down before my psycho power.
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today I want to do a follow-up to a video that I did on April the 7th. That video was me talking about the state of Unreal that just happened, I believe 2 days before I made that video. The title on that video says, "Huge News. Bandai Namco is not using Unreal Engine 5 to develop Tekken 8. Now the reason why we know this, or we figured this out, is because at the state of Unreal, they showed this big screen with over like 50 different development studios. All the companies that are currently using Unreal Engine 5 to develop their game. And the Tekken studio, Capcom, Sega, NetherRealm Studios, so many of the fighting games we know and love was not on here. And this basically tells us that mostly all of the next generation fighting games will not be made on Unreal Engine 5. Street Fighter 6, that was something people were also saying, will that be on Unreal Engine 5? No, it won't. Tekken 8, will that be Unreal Engine 5? No, it won't. Also in the video, I was talking about how we really don't need Unreal Engine 5. Unreal Engine 4 has dominated the whole entire past decade, right? Unreal Engine 4, the reason why everyone cares so much about Unreal Engine 5 is because what Unreal Engine 4 did, what it succeeded in doing. Kind of like Tekken 7, the reason everyone cares so much about Tekken 8 is because of what Tekken 7 did. Now, the reason why I'm making this video is because in the comment section, some of the biggest comments on that video, you know, huge likes, double-digit likes, people were saying, one, they don't like Unreal Engine 4. It has many problems. You talk about clipping, you talk about hurtbox, hitbox. That's one thing. A lot of people were saying graphics as well. But what I seen in a lot of these comments was that maybe they're not going to use Unreal Engine 4. What they should do is go back to the engines they used to make Tekken 6 and Tekken Tag Tournament 2. And at first I was thinking about it. At first, you know, I was just going to be like, no, that is not a good idea. And I was going to base my theory or my reasoning on Call of Duty. The Call of Duty franchise have been using the same engine since the beginning, right? They've been patching it and updated it and modifying it for 2 decades basically. And Call of Duty always have this stigma of why does it look like the same game every single time? And it's partially because they've been using the same engine for the past 2 generations. All that is changing though. I'll read this headline and then we'll talk about Tekken 6, Tag Tournament 2, 7, and Tekken 8, right? Call of Duty franchise to use one game engine starting with COD 2022. New engine, massively better. Now this engine is the engine that was used on Modern Warfare 2019 version, and that's why that game looks so stunning. The detail, the quality, the graphics, you could see the flash coming from the guns, the smoke. It was an incredible game, especially for Call of Duty. And this is why I was saying maybe they shouldn't go back to those old engines, because one, they would have to upgrade it and patch the engine from Tekken 6 and Tag Tournament 2. I don't know if they would want to do that, sink all that time and effort into building upon an old engine. But also, would that be better than using Unreal Engine 4 again? Now, I went back, I did some research, I went and found some quotes from Harada, Michael Murray, and they're just talking about, well, it's many things. We have quotes here about Unreal Engine 4 and why they initially switched to it, right? What made them switch from the old engine to Unreal Engine 4? We have quotes about that, but then we also have quotes just comparing some of the differences between Tekken 6 and Tag Tournament 2, because both of those games were made on the same engine, but they look kind of different from one another. So let's look at some of these comments first. I don't want them to use Unreal at all. I want them to go back to using their own engine. The next one, it's okay if they use Unreal Engine 4 because it has a solid, good looking graphics, but not amazing graphics like Unreal Engine 5. Tekken 6 and Tag 2 use Octave engine, and all the character stages still look good to this day, while they look meh on Unreal Engine 4. Good, because I want them to use their own engine. The Unreal Engine can't even pitch black pants instead of dark gray. Now this is one thing. I feel like in Tekken 8 the customization is just going to be way better regardless. Considering how much we've been complaining about it the whole Tekken 7 lifespan, I'm expecting them to put more resources into it. the final comment, it says, or they could use their own engine again, like upgraded version of Tag 2. Now, let's talk about the engine from Tekken 6 and Tag 2. First off, like the comment says, what engine does Tekken 7 use? It's the Octave engine. And this game uses a proprietary graphic engine running on 60 frames per second, as well as a dynamic physics engine named Octave Engine. Now, when I was doing research into this Octave engine, the key things that I seen that this specializes in, because all of these engines have something that they specialize in. I'll have a video playing in the background so you guys can see what I'm talking about, but how the characters used to walk through the water and the water would move and it would splash and you would see footprints in the snow. That is what this engine specializes in. So it makes perfect sense why that stuff didn't transition into Tekken 7, because Unreal Engine doesn't have that capability. So that's one thing. If they continue to use Unreal Engine 4 and Tekken 8, the snow, the footprints, the water splashing, that's something we will miss out on once again. I have a paragraph here. This one is talking about the Octave engine in Tekken 6, and then we're going to start reading some of the Unreal stuff, because the Unreal has a splash of both. The Unreal is talking about Tekken Tag Tournament 2 and Tekken 6 and why they shifted. So I do want to read that after. It says, indeed it does, quite literally. The Octave engine is the world's first simulation engine to dynamically simulate hydrodynamics on a game machine. Now, it says first here, but I'm guaranteeing so many other engines are now capable of this. But this engine pioneered it. This one was the first to do it. In the video, the Octave engine shows how it accurately simulates wave splashes in Tekken 6, described as natural environment middleware. The Octave engine is not only capable of simulating hydrodynamics, but also physics of other small particle systems like sand. So you kind of see there what the engine like really shined, especially for its time. Tekken 6, it was like outstanding that this engine was capable of this. But now, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if they were able to do this in Tekken 8 with Unreal Engine 4. Now let's talk about the Unreal Engine 4. This is February 1st, 2017 when this discussion took place. So this is kind of marketing for Tekken 7. Bandai Namco goes for the KO with Unreal Engine 4 in Tekken 7. The shift to PC-based development and EU4 allows us to devote more time to designing gameplay elements and balancing the game, said Michael Murray. It also makes it easier to bring the game to multiple platforms. So here's the thing. Unreal Engine 4, it makes it easier to bring it to Xbox, PlayStation, and PC. A lot of people say they wanted to come to Switch. Unreal Engine 4 will also make that process easier, right? One thing that I thought was interesting here, they have a lot of assets when they're working with Unreal Engine 4. So they can spend more time balancing the game, spend more time like fleshing out the game. And this is one reason why I was saying they shouldn't go back to the old engines, because time they could put into balancing the game and working on game modes and Tekken Force, they would have to cut down on that time to rebuild the engines of the past. Because this Octave engine, I couldn't figure out exactly when it stopped, but it doesn't look like this is being used in the modern era. So they would definitely have to upgrade and tweak it. And it's like, why would you do that when you have Unreal Engine 4, which already is like, it has everything you need ready to go. Yes, it doesn't have like little splash effects and sand and stuff, but the trade-off is better balancing, better designing. Michael Murray said the graphics and engine of the last game in the franchise, Tekken Tag Tournament 2, was based on Tekken 6. The development team had to scale down the graphics a bit to accommodate 4 characters on the screen at once. I thought this paragraph here was really important. Tekken 6 and Tag Tournament 2 uses the same engine, but the reason why they look so different is because they had to scale down a lot of aspects to make the game work, right? You have 4 characters switching in and out. That's a lot of processing power to have 4 characters and all these different combos and attacks and combinations. So that is the main reason why the games look different. The next quote says, "We wanted Tekken 7 to stand out graphically." This was the first time the team used the Unreal Engine 4, so it took some getting used to, but everyone will notice the differences in graphical quality with Tekken 7 when it first hit arcades compared to the more recent updates of Tekken 7 Fatal Retribution, on which the console version is based. Many stages also feature changes in weather or time between rounds. The two times that I noticed the graphics really changed is one from arcades to consoles. The graphic change there was incredible, but also I felt like the transitioning from, I think, season 1 to season 2, they tweaked the graphics again and it got a little bit better. I know Tekken 7 gets a lot of flack for being ugly and whatnot, but you guys have to realize this game is 7 years old, right? It's a very, like, the game is outdated. The game looks bad because it's like outdated. I don't know, it's like, I have to keep using Fakamram and Lita and Kurimitsu as an example because those characters look stunning, right? The changing weather between rounds. This is something I would want them to tap into a little bit more. We see them that they're keeping this up. Kurimitsu stage starts off daytime, then it goes to nighttime. Lita stage starts off daytime, and then it goes to like dawn or sunset. So I would want them to keep this up, but also I would want them to have it switch during the round maybe. Maybe as you're fighting, the day slowly starts to turn to night. Maybe that would be more cool. The reason why I think Tekken 8 will look so much better is just because Tekken 7 was the first time they ever used Unreal Engine 4. And they said it here, it was rough transitioning. It was rough at the start, but now Bandai Namco, the whole company, is using Unreal Engine 4, right? That's a quote from Harada that I was talking about just to show how much they embraced Unreal Engine 4. Another quote here says the biggest benefit of Unreal Engine 4 was being able to display the game on screen relatively early so that we could spend more time implementing and balancing new gameplay and mechanics. Here's the thing, right? We talk about how we want Tekken 4s and Team Battle and all this stuff, but Unreal Engine 4 is the quickest way for them to get to that. If they use other engines, this Octave engine, they will get to that process so much later in development. And at that point, you might have Team Battle and Tekken 4 showing up as DLC instead of being on the base game, right? That's the difference between these two. Unreal Engine 4, you will have a complete game at launch. These other engines, you will have a unfinished product and things needed to be added later on, right? It says Unreal Engine 4's physics help with floor breaks and wall break. Implementations added for impact. And the graphic level overall improved greatly, which was one of our major goals at the start of the project. I just wanted to read these different quotes and examples from Michael Murray and Harada because I think it's important to really understand the difference between the two engines. I think EU4 is just so much better than Octave. I get Octave had this, it was more environment focused, and that is something that I want Tekken 8 to have, a really good environment. I do want the footprints, I do want the water, I do want the game to feel alive. I don't want these dull volcano stages and these dull jungle stages, but at the same time, I do want to complete a functioning game with game modes, with good balancing, with good mechanics. Like, it's give or take, you know. We can't have the best of both. And in this video, I just want to just talk a little bit about both engines and what both specify in, does good, does bad, and just why they switched, right? But we'll see what they actually decide to use because they haven't said yet. They can still use Unreal Engine 5. Just because they weren't on the screen doesn't mean that it's out of the question. I think it is, but they can surprise us. They can still use Unreal Engine 4, and if they really felt like Unreal Engine 4 was bad, they can go back to the Octave engine. It will need some patching and some fixing and some polishing, but they can do that, right? Call of Duty has been doing it for the past decade. They're not now, but they were, right? But that's it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you all later. See you next time. Bye-bye.